Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful day so far. I got a good one for you today. Krista Freeland, our favorite financial minister, is back talking about what she's going to do when Donald Trump gets back into the presidency. So, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And with no further ado, let's get into it.
If Mr. Trump follows through on tariff threats, is Canada willing to put reciprocal tariffs on the U.S.?
Thank you for the question. We did discuss at some length today the Canada-U.S. trading relationship. I want to start by reminding us all that today our trading relationship is governed by President Trump and Ambassador Lighthizer trade deal. We renegotiated NAFTA. We now have the USMCA. It's a deal that we agreed with them. That's really important for Canadians to bear in mind. The President and Ambassador Lighthizer have both talked about this deal as being a model trade deal, and I agree with them. The Prime Minister had a good conversation with President-elect and President Trump this week, and I've been in really frequent contact with Ambassador Lighthizer this week. I've stayed in touch with him and actually met with him in person over the summer. In terms of what the future may hold, we know that our trading relationship with the United States is strong and mutually beneficial. The unique position that Canada has with the U.S. as a trading partner is based on the reality that we are the most important export market for the United States by a long shot. Canada is a bigger export market for the United States than China, Japan, the UK, and France combined. Think about that for a minute. That means that, sure, they are important for us, absolutely. They are an important market for Canadians, and they are important as a country whose supply chains and our own are so closely integrated. But the thing for Canadians to remember is we are important for them too. And we really learned that during the 232 steel and aluminum conflict. And at that moment, we did take a step, which we took really reluctantly and with no pleasure, which was when those illegal tariffs were imposed on Canada, we did respond with dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs because we knew it was important to defend the national interest. What's important about that whole experience is that Canada and the United States agreed at the end of the day that it didn't make sense for our two countries to have those tariffs imposed. And it was Ambassador Lighthizer with whom I did a deal, he did a deal with me, that those tariffs on steel and aluminum would be lifted. And just a final point about the strength of that partnership. Yesterday.
Okay, so she's rambling on a bit, so I kind of have to interject a little bit before I get dinged. So I think what Canadians are kind of wondering and a little bit worried about right now is the agreement is up for review in 2026. So if, everything forbid, the Liberals get in, will they be able to get better deals on what we got deals on during this UNESCO agreement? Because, okay, yes, I think what it sounds like the Liberals would love to have the exact same thing, call it good, but we kind of want to get these tariffs off our soft lumber. I don't know if they would push too much on that, to be completely honest. I think they would just keep everything as is, unless Trump wants to get more tariffs, and then I don't think the Liberals have the spine anymore to do that. I think they just let it go.
Yesterday, I met with, yesterday I was in Hamilton, meeting with leaders of the Canadian steel industry. And specifically, I was at Stelco. Stelco has now been acquired by Cleveland Cliffs. That is a U.S. steel company which is owned by Lourenço Gonçalves. He is a major Trump supporter. He has real confidence, and he spoke about this yesterday in Hamilton, that because the Canada-U.S. relationship, economic relationship, is so mutually beneficial, it will endure. And he's put his money where his mouth is. So just think about this for a minute. A significant Trump supporter, a significant U.S. steel producer, has made the decision to acquire a Canadian steelmaker, which depends very significantly on Canadian steel exports to the United States. To me, that is a very powerful proof point of really the fundamental economic rationale, the fundamental economic benefit that both countries get from the economic relationship.
I know that's your plan, but
You're the IRE.
Trump has said he doesn't like you very much. Donald Trump has said that he doesn't like you very much in the past. What makes you the best person to lead the Canadian government's efforts here?
I think that President Trump will obviously speak for himself, and I would never put words in his mouth. But in my experience, President Trump respects strength, and he respects people and countries who are strong and clear in defending their countries, in defending their national interest. That's what I've always done, and that's what I will continue to do. And the proof that that approach works is, I would say, threefold. One, we did a really good trade deal with the previous Trump administration. We did a win-win deal that works for the U.S., that works for Canada. I think that we are going to find that some of the key measures in that deal, particularly being clear that wages are, that good jobs, good paying jobs need to be retained in any trade deal. That's kind of the heart of the innovation of the USMCA, and we did that together. Second proof point, hang on, super quick. Second proof point is we were successful with the steel and aluminum tariffs. Canada was unique in that regard, and we see how our steel and aluminum industries are benefiting from that. That was a deal that we did, that I did with Ambassador Lighthizer, who continues to be a really influential person with President Trump and his team. And then the final thing, which is a real change in the world and something I think positive for Canada, is what Canada has done with tariffs on Chinese EVs, on Chinese steel, and on Chinese aluminum. That was a big change in Canadian trade policy. It was a recognition that Chinese oversupply is a danger to our economy, to our manufacturers, to our workers. That is something actually that Ambassador Lighthizer and President Trump have been calling for and talking about for some time. Canada is very aligned with the United States in that respect, and that's a final area where I see a firm foundation for our work together.
Are you open to examine?
So I didn't know too much about that the Liberal government brought in a dollar for dollar aluminum tariff when Donald Trump tried to put it in. So that's awesome. That gives me a tiny bit of hope that during this next year, once Donald Trump gets in, if he tries to impose any tariffs on Canada, which I can't see him doing until 2026, it kind of gives me a little bit of hope they'll at least be able to stall him enough. But my worry is, are they going to push to get more pipelines down into the United States? So what I'm looking forward to is when Trump lost the presidency, I believe it was the TMX pipeline. Let me know below. I can't quite remember. I think it was the TMX pipeline that went through Saskatchewan and then down into the States. It stopped at our border because Biden just got in and stopped it. And I hope that the United States continues on building that right when he gets in. So, and I hope what happens is the government can work with Trump and build more pipelines towards the United States and possibly even get ours out to Alaska to try and get it to the Pacific. Because, I mean, we love BC, but a lot of times BC just does not like Alberta pipelines going through. We saw it with the Trans Mountain pipeline. So, if we can get it so we can go up through the Yukon and out that way, and if that's what we have to do, then hopefully the Alberta or the federal government can help do that. But with their green policy, I don't see that happening. It is what it is.
Like dairy from the.
I'm gonna let Minister Joly add something to this, and then we'll take a couple more questions.
Thank you. Je pense, Émilie, à ta question, ce que les Canadiens doivent se rappeler en matière de défense militaire, c'est qu'on triple notre budget. Et on triple notre budget particulièrement en investissant chez nous, dans notre potentiellement, et c'est pourquoi, bien entendu, dans notre système d'immigration,
Dans sa stratégie,
confiance-là, c'est pour ça que nous avons diminué.
que Mélanie a dit, au Canada, oui, dans notre parce que savoir qu'on est vrai aujourd'hui.
What in the world? The question was on dairy products, and it was in English. Why did they switch the answer into French? That was the weirdest thing ever, because that dairy and industry of ours is quite protected in Canada and controlled. So that was a massive and important question that they just glossed over.
You mentioned
What's the plan? Are there going to be more CBSA guards at the border? What are you going to do about the increasing strength there?
As Mélanie said, it's quite intentional on the part of the Prime Minister. First of all, that Dominic LeBlanc is the deputy chair of this committee. That's really a sign of how important this issue is for Canada and for the Canada-US relationship today. It's also entirely intentional that Minister Miller is a member of the committee. We have a plan, and we are working to elaborate it further. I'm not here today to announce more details of it, but I do want Canadians to know it is one of our two central points of focus. Ministers are working hard on it, and we absolutely believe that it's an issue that Canadians are concerned about. Canadians are right to be concerned about it, and Canadians need to know that we're a sovereign country. Our borders are safe and secure, and we control them. And the only other thing I'll say is this week I've also had conversations with a number of premiers. I know other colleagues have done so. So we're going to need to take a real Team Canada approach on all of these issues.
On China tariffs.
Holy, okay, what's going on with her here? Like, you don't even see Christopher Freeland's face screech up like this or scrunch up like this during the scrums when she's coming out of Parliament and asked by a massive amount of people. And I've never seen this happen before. Did she just like have a moment?
The steel industry, that there are some other consultations announced in the summer and that came into working hard on it. And we absolutely believe that it's an issue that Canadians are concerned about. Canadians are right to be concerned about it. And Canadians need to know that we're a sovereign country. Our borders are safe and secure, and we control them.
An update on what.
And also, yes, we know you keep on saying that our borders are safe, secure, and controlled, but we heard from the RCMP that they don't have enough staff to watch the borders and control them as well as they need to be, because we're seeing all over the news now that refugees and illegal immigrants and people who aren't supposed to be in the States are getting ready to come to Canada. We're seeing that in the news right now. And we're hearing from Donald Trump that he's saying that a lot of these people aren't the good, nice refugees that come to their country, and they're the not so pleasant ones. So we're just worried that the same thing that happened during COVID is going to happen the same now, where Roxham Road is just going to become the new entry point, and it's just going to be, well, if you come to the border here, we'll let you right in, just like last time.
What you heard and what we should expect is coming next on that.
I don't have an announcement to make on further China tariffs today. I will say that those tariffs that we announced in the summer and that came into force in October are really essential when it comes to protecting Canadian workers. And they're really important as well as a new foundation for the Canada-US relationship, and as a point of really clear alignment between Canada and the United States. When I met in person with Ambassador Lighthizer over the summer, that was one of the issues that we discussed. You're quite right that there are some other consultations and there are some other decisions we need to take, and we will have announcements on those in the days to come. One other related area that it is worth highlighting is circumvention. And at my meeting with the steel industry on Thursday, and actually had a meeting I had with the steel sector last Friday in Sault Ste. Marie, circumvention was an issue that Canadian producers raised. It's something we take seriously and will be looking into as well.
You talked about the premiers. Will Pierre Poilievre also be part of Team Canada and opposition parties in general?
I very obviously cannot speak for the leader of the official opposition. But what I can say is, in the conversations I've already had this week, I spoke with Liberals, I spoke with people from the NDP, and I spoke with Conservatives. I really believe that Canada, at our best, we have a capacity to recognize when there is an issue that touches the national interest. And at our best as a country, we have a capacity, when we recognize such an issue, to work together. We did that during the first Trump administration when we renegotiated NAFTA, and that really was a Team Canada effort. On my NAFTA council, a prominent conservative, Rona Ambrose, was a member of that council, and she played a really important role. And actually, I think I can say that she's become a friend. We're actually both from small towns in northern Alberta. So that was really important. Equally, during COVID, we had a real Team Canada approach. We had very regular meetings between the Prime Minister and all the premiers. And that contributed to a really strong and...
Not really. I think the last real big one with all the prime ministers was once in 2020. And then before that was 2016. So, no, Krista. No. Just no.
effective Canadian COVID response. Had Canada suffered the mortality levels that the United States experienced, for example, an additional 70,000 Canadians would have died. Think about that. Those are, our parents, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles who wouldn't be here. And we were able to do that because of a Team Canada approach. So I really hope and believe that that's the kind of approach we need to take today. Thank you. Thank you.
Just to answer that question.
So it sounds to me like Christopher Freeland and the rest of the Liberals have a wait-and-see sort of approach to it. I still don't think it's particularly the right approach to have towards the Trump presidency. You need to be a little bit more hands-on and prepared, and it does not sound like they really have that. But what do you think in the comments down below? Do you think that the Liberals are prepared for this, or do you think things are about to get a little bit sketchy in 2025? Let me know. And if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And with no further ado, that's all I got for you.